When I grow up to be a man. What's going on, everybody? Just cooking up some brekkie. A little bit of brekkie. I know people in the community just hate it when I scrape the eggs like this. They just hate it. Oh. They say, Canadian gamer, how can you do that? How can you do that with your eggs? It drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. So, let's get on with today's episode of Coffee and Conversation. Alright, so back in the games room, again, another episode of Coffee and Conversation. Now today, we're going to pretend that there's coffee in here, and we're just going to pour a little bit of Corona in here to get the video started. I know sacrilege, beer in a coffee cup. We'll try it out. So, I was going to do a video on another topic today, but I saw something on Twitter that kind of spurred me to change the topic. Now, there's a guy in the gaming community, we won't name names, you know, a lot of people know who he is. I've been nice to the guy over the years. Even at one point, I mailed him a game out of the goodness of my dumb old heart. But anyhow, take a look at this screenshot. So, yeah, as you can see here, his lapel mic broke, and I know, first world problems, I get it. He's upset that his video got ruined as far as the audio is concerned, and he's thinking about getting a sing-along mic. So that's obviously a jab at me. And again, we won't name names, but this person's been taking jabs at me quite a bit lately. I don't know what his deal is. But again, do I have to keep reiterating myself? This is just a hobby. You know, this is not a career. I'm not spending $300 on a goddamn mic when you can buy a mic like this for $1.99. And it works just fine. I've had it this entire time, and it still works. Like, for fuck's sakes. Hey, you don't see me using a lapel mic. This mic has been working the entire time. It's never let me down. This is overkill as far as I'm concerned, because, you know, you could have the most expensive shotgun mic in the world, or whatever it is you have. It's only as good as the words that are coming out of your mouth. So... As I've stated before, this is just a hobby. I'll continue to use this Rock Band microphone until the day that I die. I'm not replacing it. I'm going to use this mic to prove that you can have a YouTube channel on a budget. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And that's what this video is going to be about. Talking about elitists in the gaming community. Now let me take a sip of my coffee beer. It's actually not bad. So when we're talking about elitists in the gaming community, this is probably going to hit home with a lot of people. Now, I'm not financially struggling, excuse me. I know a lot of people are, especially with what's going on, but even before that as well. Now, I learned at a young age, a really young age, never to put somebody down that might be doing maybe not as well as you or someone that you might know. You know, we all come from different areas and walks of life. Some of us maybe grew up in a household that was, you know, underprivileged. Maybe a father or a mother that was financially struggling while they, you know, raised their children and tried to give their children the best that they could. And a lot of times, themselves did without, just so that they could give their son or their daughter, you know, the latest or greatest toys just to keep up with the Joneses. Believe me, I've been there. I didn't grow up in a wealthy household by any means. You know, back in the early 90s, when those portable basketball nets came out, where they would be like a pole on a stand with wheels where you could move it on your driveway, everybody had those. And for the longest time, my dad took basically plywood and nailed it to the garage, the top of the garage, and nailed a basketball net to it without any mesh on it, and we used that for a couple of years as a basketball net. We did what we could. So how this relates to the gaming community, and I've seen it, not everybody, most people are pretty good, but you know, there are people out there that will kind of look down on others like, oh, well, if you don't have an Xbox One X, then, you know, whatever it is you're trying to say means nothing. Or, you know, if you don't have a 4K TV or, you know, surround sound and the best of everything, high-speed internet. Look, it's just ridiculous, you know. Believe it or not, there are people out there, you might not know, but there are people out there that maybe still can't afford an Xbox One. Like, I'm talking the base model that came out in 2013. There's people out there that are still using an Xbox 360. There's probably people out there still using a PS2. So everybody's trying to get by. You know, they're trying to make the best that they can with the situation that they have with the cards that were dealt to them. So again, if you're one of those out there that are chirping people or knocking someone that's maybe not doing as good as you, you need to take a step back and assess the situation and realize that you could be hurting somebody. You know, somebody could truly, you know, be trying to do the best that they can, knowing full well that the best that they have is not comparable to what everybody else has. You really, if you are one of those out there, take a step back and again, just sort of reassess what you're doing, because it's really unfortunate. Again, I'm not trying to make this a sob story. I have it better than most. I realize that. You know, I've got an Xbox One S. I've got a flat screen TV that's about 6 years old. It's not, you know, a newer model by any means, but it works well. And look, a lot of us share the same thought process. You know, if it works broken, why fix it? You know, you don't have to have the latest and greatest to get along and to get by. You can have, you know, the medium grade, the medium level, and for most of us, that's just fine. Look, there are people out there that, how are we doing for time? We're 6 minutes? There are people out there that have to have the latest and greatest of everything, and that's not just in the gaming world, it's in life. And again, we've talked about this before on the channel, but the same people out there that have, you know, the Xbox One X's, and again, not everybody, PS4 Pro, you know, they got the pre-order on the next-gen consoles. You know, often those are the same people that are driving around in the Lexuses, and they've got a mortgage that they can barely afford, and they're living beyond their means, and, you know, they're always trying to keep up with the Joneses, and it is what it is. This is the world that we live in, and you're going to have, you know, people from different ends of the spectrum that are, you know, it's a competitive world. People are always trying to compete with each other. You know, just look at John Hancock's latest video there. He's complaining about, you know, the possibility that next-gen games are going to be $70. Like, okay, Hancock, you don't pay full retail to begin with, so what are you complaining about? And most of us don't. Most of us wait for the games to go on sale. So, you know, so what if there's somebody out there that's dying to play Red Dead Redemption 2, but to this day, maybe they're still waiting for it to go on sale? Can you hardly knock the person? Myself, I don't, you know, buying video games and hardware, that's not a main priority for me. Like, fuck, I gotta buy paint for the interior of my house. I got some repainting to do. I got some serious work that needs to be done on the house, on the exterior as well. I got lots of stuff going on. I got repairs on my vehicle. So, you know, it's easy for some people that, you know, maybe have less priorities or living in an apartment and all they do is come home, you know, turn key, lock the door, and sit down and play video games. That's not reality for a lot of us. So, you know, like I said, if there's anything I can sort of throw out your way, it's just to be mindful that maybe not everybody's in the same financial situation, or maybe someone that has, you know, not the greatest tech out there. Maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe you don't know their situation. Maybe there's a lot going on. I can remember, you know, I don't remember a lot from when I was young. A lot of those memories just sort of fade away. But I do remember when I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old. I remember living in Niagara Falls, and I still remember the kid's name. It was John, and I think he had a twin brother who had the name that sort of rhymed. It might have been Sean, or I'm not Tom, maybe, I don't know. But I remember they would come to school, and you could clearly tell like they didn't have the greatest clothing. They were wearing hand-me-downs. Their clothing didn't fit properly. You know, they didn't look like they were well off, and it was really unfortunate. And I remember going out of my way to be extra nice to these kids when nobody on the playground would be nice to them, and they were getting made fun of a lot. And even at a young age, I could see what was happening in front of me. And so that's why even to this day, I think back on things like that. And when I see someone out there that, again, is trying to do the best that they can, I truly appreciate that. And I would never look down on someone because they're driving maybe a car that's 20 years old. Or, like I said, maybe the cards are stacked against them. Maybe they're having a hard time paying the rent right now. Maybe they have a lot going on. We don't know. So, like I said, the next time you want to, chirp somebody because maybe they're using a rock band mic, maybe just put in perspective. Maybe the person has other priorities going on in their life. Maybe the microphone in front of their face for their hobby YouTube channel is not a main priority. So that's going to do it for this video. That's going to do it for this episode of Coffee and Conversation. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Take care. Bon appetite.